This is the next video in my series of photography tutorials for beginners. I've already shared how to learn about shutter speeds, how to learn about aperture, and how to learn about ISO. Today, I want to talk about white balance. Now, white balance is literally the idea of making sure that white is white. Your camera has white balance modes, and most likely it has white balance preset modes like sunlight and flash and fluorescent. Some cameras, mostly the high-end cameras, have Kelvin control, meaning you can fine-tune the white balance to a specific color temperature, or Kelvin. The light that's coming right here, my main light, is through a softbox, but it is set to 3860 of a Kelvin color temperature. So I set my camera to also be 3860. That means that I should always have the correct white balance, and then no matter what color I make the background, like right now the lights are set to orange, no matter what, I should always have the proper skin tone, and the background will just take that color that the lights have. You also have an auto white balance mode, which most likely your camera is set to by default. That is pretty smart for the most part, but in mixed lighting situations, it could get really confused, and you could get some odd discoloration. And if you start seeing green skin or really orange skin, it could look really strange. So this is where manually adjusting your white balance could come into play. I might even recommend manually adjusting your white balance if you're just outside. Like if you're photographing a marathon, set it to sunlight. It can't hurt. It can only make your white balance better if you set it to the correct color temperature. To show you the difference of what happens when you switch the white balance in a not so good situation, I'm gonna go to the computer, hook my camera up to the computer in still mode, and then that way you can actually see the screen as I adjust the settings. So here's a look at the different white balance modes that are in your camera. Here we are in auto. This is natural light auto. This is direct sunlight, and this is cloudy. And this one is shade, this is incandescent, and this one is fluorescent. And then we have flash, and now Kelvin. And you can see it's set to 3800, and we're back to the beginning. Okay, now that you have seen the difference between white balances, I want you to experiment. Just like you did for shutter, aperture, and ISO, I want you to go to different rooms. Open up your camera, find that WB white balance button or setting in your camera and adjust it. Adjust that setting for different lighting conditions, different white balance modes in one room, just so you see what happens. As you get to know white balance more and more, you might want to start creating a custom white balance. And you can do this, but I recommend using something called the Color Checker Passport to do so. Click right up there to see my video on the Color Checker Passport and how you can get accurate color in camera every time. In the next video, we're going to wrap everything up and talk about manual mode. So stay tuned, click that subscribe button below right now. I publish new videos every Monday and Thursday whenever possible. You don't want to miss it.